Hope you enjoyed a little bit this introducing video, and I really think that you cannot describe, to be very honest, you cannot describe urbanism in any better way than that. That is, for me personally, and I guess for many of my colleagues, exactly that, what we understand about urbanism. We want to have fun. And that's very much that what I will try to talk about now. And I will try to elaborate the question that you can see behind me, a space of stories, what makes a city. I have to say that this whole thing is coming in a moment where we, with the Urban Institute here in Riga, within a year suddenly have quite a lot of success, and we actually, to be very honest, we don't really understand why. And then when we are looking on all that, and when we try to see what happens right now, and when we look on the TEDxRigaCity event globally, you said 70-something places right now worldwide, which are today doing something like what we are doing here, then I think it's perfectly allowed also to ask a question whether this isn't the meanwhile a little bit pop culture. So are we like moving from something which we actually would like to professionalize in a way that we really are meaning that serious, and we really work, we are doing, I don't know, spatial planning, and we're doing architecture, and we're doing social planning, but probably we also do something else. Maybe we are also part of a pop culture. So if that is like that, then there's a question whether we have to criticize that, or whether we say, okay, maybe we use it, and we say it's a good way to marketing the interests of cities. So finally we like move our focus on cities, and that's nice, that's wonderful. Anyhow, I think it's important that we still have in mind that we also have to concentrate on that, what is a city and what is to be done in the city. All of you most likely are probably from Riga, I guess, or somewhere around, or are living here for some time only. But you know, we have perfectly enough reasons to really seriously concentrate. There's a lot to do out in this city. Second pre-remark. Urbanism very often is understood as something which is a very professional, scientific issue, like architects, and I mentioned spatial planners, or geographers, or social scientists, or whatever, anthropologists, keep telling us how important is the city. By the way, back to the first issue, this pop culture started very much influenced by the BBC. The BBC World Radio, somewhere 2003, announced officially, the 21st century is a century of the urban scale. So that was like the kickoff in a way. And then really it started to develop some real brand out of it. So back to urbanism, I think it is not only about those professions. For sure, many of those professions probably are sitting around here. But most of all, I think we are sharing only one major issue that we are sitting here. From 5 years old to, I don't know, who is the oldest in the room. We are humans. So actually, humans make cities. So this is already the answer on that. I could finish now, to be honest. Yeah. So we are the city. And it's not another attempt to talk about the right to the city movement. We have done that a lot. We don't have to occupy now Bironica or Berg's Bazaar. It's not necessary. Yeah? Although we could, but actually it's done already. Look outside, there's a market. So it's occupied, in a way, by countryside people. My goodness, yeah. So okay. Thank you. This was the kind of move from my side also, exactly that point, in order to explain that this all, what I'm telling about, is actually a love affair. Today morning when I started with a bus to drive here, I got a message from my wife. She said, enjoy your coffee in the morning with your love affair. I indeed have a love affair. The love affair is called Riga, or city. I'm not living in Riga. This is a crazy thing. I'm the kind of director of this Urban Institute, but I'm not living here. I'm living really in the far extended sprawl, somewhere in Engudes Nurbags, yeah, which is 50 kilometers from here. So I am kind of having a love affair with one of the most interesting characters in the world, to my mind, called Riga. Okay, so what I will tell you and what I will try to elaborate is really, seriously, nothing new. All what you will hear here is nothing innovative. I am definitely not a person who is kind of an innovator. Yeah? That's not the point. I try just to remind some important issues about ourselves, which I think are really relevant. So what is that all about? What we call urbanism, and what we call city, and what we call city making, and making spaces and place, or just being ourselves. So we can like shape places, we can create them, like here, you can see. So this is done by some school pupils in a workshop that I've done some years ago. Or you can like think that a city is taping notes. This is from Berlin. So there are like, there's a wall where like as I was living there around the corner 10 years, and in that time this picture was getting better and better and better. People take off, stick on it, pit off. This is the city. You leave notes. Or in the end, probably you have to carry bicycles through a burning crowd, or better to say, to celebrate some graveyard celebration called in Latvian Oligarch Kapusvētki, which was a fantastic event and really, real urban. That is really urban. So there are expressions. Yeah, I think we very much find expressions all around us which are actually very often disturbing us. That's what we feel. Like, for example, a bite of aggression, anxiety. Look on these eyes. Poor guy. He will be right in there as a piece coming and very dangerous. So that might look gated. Avo to yellow. It might look fenced. Liverpool. Or we are waiting for something. I mean, coming soon. Landmark development. I've been visiting this place 2007, and I visited it last year ago, and there was still nothing standing.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Exactly like this. So, is it that what we want? Is it that what we are waiting for? Is it that what we understand ourselves as to be a city? Probably yes. Probably this is part of city, and it's very important. And it's also kind of, let's put it clear. I am not so much a fan of like hiding, so straight words. It's a bit idiotism to think this is not part of city, and this doesn't have to be also part of city. City is not always shiny and nice. So city has a chance to be something else as well. An experiment. A life experiment of each single individual, but also of all of us together. So first and foremost, to have fun. Exactly that, what Todd was talking about in the video, we need to have fun. And as you can see, this boy in downtown Liverpool is doing nothing else than the created, designed urban space. It's like really designed, and he's using it. He's really using it in jumping and having fun. And I don't have a video, but I mean, when we were sitting there, actually we were sitting next to the fountain and had a beer, or several ones, and there were like 20, 25 boys and girls who were doing the same. So they have fun. Or to dance simply in the park. I'm still like very happy about DJ's Mel Bixes. I've never met him, but I really think this is one of the best pictures I ever found on Facebook in the last months. So it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. That's like taking the city for fun. Or as already mentioned before, we are like gathering at the water. Have you realized Riga is a city at the water? Exactly. We have realized it, but is it really possible to use it as a city at the water? Or do we have to like take a little bit our water back, that we get again this maritime charm? We don't have very much. I mean, there is a difference whether I'm in Tallinn standing somewhere up on the Linnahalli and like really having a kind of a feeling of maritime character there, or whether I'm at Daugava or even Daugavgriva. However, I can enter Daugavgriva, the water, which is very difficult, yeah, because our friends called the Freeport are holding quite a lot of property there and closing it. Or we are simply sitting on tables and talking. This is in Esplanade in our 2014 meeting, which Gunita and I together organized. Or we simply decide to be our own presidents. I mean, everybody can be a president. And with this picture, I also want very much to focus you on talking about people in the city. Is always easy. But we intend to forget that there are more creatures in the city. And I mean that serious. I mean also dogs and cats are making stories. Sure, this story is made by us. But in a way, they can make very nice, interesting communication. The same as birds, or even if they disturb us in the morning, like something like that, or tapping over the metal roof and over us, yeah. So anyhow, all of these are kind of small stories, kind of small events which make ourselves feeling the city. And now, this was the nice picture part. Now we come more to the words part. I want to raise attention a little bit to the essence. So what is that all about? It's about communication. But it's not only communication between humans, like verbal or non-verbal. Alex and I are not talking, or we're like looking on eyes, or we are like flirting, or whatsoever. I don't know, yeah? But it's not only about that. It's also the communication of architecture. It's a communication of forms which are shaped in moments which are not in any old way to understand. But suddenly you are standing somewhere and you're realizing, oh, there's a form. There is something shaping. Out of something, out of nothing, can be clouds, whatever. So communication. It is the curiosity. The youngest person in the room, the second youngest, I guess, my daughter and my son sitting there in the back, they actually, I think, have all these still in them, this curiosity. And as Todd said in the video, why we stop to be kids, simply having fun. But the fun needs to have some kind of backup. And the backup of our fun is a curiosity. So we have to be curious to go around the next corner and see something completely new. Something detailed, something interesting, something to look upon. What's worse, and if it's, I don't know, just empty can smashed, lying somewhere next to the corner. Maybe, I have no idea. And all of this, and this is very much now again the planning idea and the architectural idea, all of this makes space. Space is important, believe me. Without space, we are nothing. We would be just, in an empty hole, vacuum, dark, or light. So, how do we make that space? And I have an idea personally that the space is very much created by words and the stories. So in order to go in the storyline, we have to be a little bit poetic, maybe. The most wonderful poet, thinking about Riga, very nearby, talking about Riga in the 40s, in the 50s, Alexander Chakas. Fantastic. Who has not touched that yet, and who is not Latvian, perfectly translated in other languages, no problem. You find it in English and German and Italian, French, everything. He has described Riga, specifically also the area around here, which is just wonderful. Read his poems about dropping water taps and whatsoever. So the city in me is a city I was born in, and then the city was there. I was raised, and the city became its picture. I was educated, the city was framed. I was puzzled, and the city got suddenly out of shape. Like this time when you are 14, 15, 16, everything is crazy suddenly. You don't understand anything anymore. I was loved, and then the city became its words. It started to elaborate. And I was sensed, and the city became alive. And I was recovered. Everybody has a down in life sometimes. And the city illuminated suddenly. And I was caught, like really caught. And the city is in me, always. So I'm there, and the city will always be there. City, to my mind, is something that needs not only poetry that I'm writing here about, it needs much more ourself. It's about and don't get it mistaken now, I'm not talking about another, I don't know, Sex and the City story or something like that. Yeah, it's not about that, although also that probably is important. But anyhow, I really try to catch that we have to find a way how to really sense for ourselves our environment. And very often, fortunately or unfortunately, erotics is the best way to do that. So, I mean, we have to have the joy for our city. And I think that these words, which are defining our cities, they are also filling the space that we have and the time that we elaborate, that we have outside there in the city. Just see, it's not perfectly, like you can't read everything, but okay. Hope it will be fine. The words, they're everywhere. We just have to be curious, I said that before, and to catch those stories. And if we are able to catch the stories, and if we're able to knit, really like sitting there, knitting, yeah, our communication lines, then we somehow also have the possibility to develop some kind of mutual idea of what are we altogether in the city where we are living. So what we actually are working on, and I guess Gunita will probably in different words talk about very much the same, we are trying to develop some kind of bridges or like pathways in order to settle communication. So, in fact, everything is about searching for words. And I just want to finish with the way that I say we need actually space. So space matters. Space is enormously important and is unfortunately still very often forgotten. We intend to forget space. We intend to forget the environment and the relation between our words and environment. In the same time, we intend to forget that humanity matters. So sometimes we are concentrating too much on the technical part of everything, but we somehow forget humans. And not only hipsters like us here, having like a nice TEDx event. TEDx, ooh, sexy. But to have some kind of touchdown, I don't know, let us all go to Pufziams and really meet in Pufziams somewhere in a yard. I mean, that's also humanity, and it's important. And last but not least, words matter. So without words, there is nothing. There is no space. We design space with words. And sometimes a word, it gets an architectural frame. And sometimes it's just spoken out, nothing else. Please consider the importance, as you have seen before in the video, please consider the importance of public space. But even if it's private, you have seen, you can do something with it. And it's not perfectly illegal to wear khaki pants and blue shirts. It's nothing against that. Okay, thank you very much.